Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the new modular police station and starting my own modifications to it. Right, so over the last week I've been building this modular police station, set 10278, just a little bit each evening, and it's been quite a pleasurable experience, I must say. I've enjoyed the build and I'm pretty impressed with the modular itself. I do think it's one of the better ones of the last half dozen or so, and it's got quite a lot going on, as well as being very tall. It's quite hard to tell when it's in isolation, but we'll see it at the end of this video next to some neighbours. But it is a very good build and quite a colourful one as well. I mean, one of the things that attracted me to it when I very first saw the pictures was the fact that we've got this lovely medium lavender colour on this side, the sand green colour on the other side, as well as the combination of tans and dark blues in the middle. So yeah, I really do like it. It's a bit tall to get in shot on my building desk, so we're doing a slightly different view from normal on the full tripod, but I'll have to battle on through. Now, I'm not going to do a full review on this set, because that's not really what my channel is about, and I'm sure lots of other people have reviewed it very thoroughly. But I will give you a quick run through of each of the floors, just to sort of show you my favourite parts and my minor grumbles, I suppose, along the way. So this really isn't meant to be a full review of the set, apart from go ahead and buy it. But if you are going to be buying it yourself and want to keep the build a complete surprise, then maybe just skip the first couple of minutes of this video until I start doing my amendments and placing it in the city. Now, I've already mentioned it's very tall and very colourful, but I also think it's very ripe for expansion. If you're one of those people that likes to buy multiple sets of a modular and just make one that's twice as big, I think this would be a really good set to start with. Each of the side buildings you could easily double, and essentially you could just have repeating sort of patterns on the front very easily. And I think a police station could definitely cope with being twice the size as this to have all the different departments catered for. And indeed, I think you'll agree that should you want to actually make a smaller version, not that probably many people will, that this actually works without the middle floor. You'll have to sort of ignore the advert on the side to a degree, but I kind of thought that that combination, pretty much unaltered, looked more like a sort of provincial police station, and was still very attractive as well. The wonderful advert on the side you'd have to reposition or move somewhere else, but anyway, yeah, it's a good point. So let's go into each of these floors one by one, as I say, go through some of the more poignant details and some of the less brilliant parts. And we can do that from a slightly different angle, I think. Now, before I get on to the details of the ground floor, I did want to talk more generally about this set, and specifically its branding as an 18 plus set with the fancy black box and the black instructions and so on. And although I agree it looks very nice, I just don't get the idea behind branding it 18 plus. I mean, I would have thought that any 14-year-old or definitely any 16-year-old would be perfectly capable of building this. It's much less complicated than some of the more advanced Technic Lego sets with all of the little pieces that they involve. So I just think it's a bit of a bizarre number to stick on. Surely Creator Expert said it all, implying that it's not a basic set for younger children, but then you would have thought that the price of the set and the size of it would make that quite clear. I mean, the only thing I could think of that made this even remotely 18 plus was the fact that we've got the troubling subject matter of the theft of donuts, and also the equally troubling subject matter of the advert on the side being for washing of clothes, which I know that under 18s are incapable of doing. So maybe that's the reason for it. Anyway, joking aside, onto the build itself. I really like this little shack on the outside. I think we need more of things like that in bigger sets, in that it's complete and has actually got more substance to it than a lot of the current year's city sets. The bushes are interesting and nice. We've had lots of comments on those on the reviews. The build of these two columns especially is very interesting and probably something I'll be taking into future builds. Very nice 3D sign. Minor grumble on the outside is that this plant that goes up all the height of the building just kind of starts in midair. And it reminds me of when I was doing fast food corner and things like that, that I was always troubled by little problems like that. And it's a bit annoying when you see Lego taking a shortcut that I didn't take just to get around a complicated problem. And then that continues on the inside to a degree, because I always made sure that I would have separate stairs for this entire side of the building, and they haven't bothered with using ladders on the outside. And also to make this, say, have a back door so staff could get out. And again, they haven't bothered. So this is just a box for the lady who works in the donut store, and she'll have to leave by the same door as everyone else. That said, it's a really nice area on that side with a nice checkerboard floor, and I really like these little shelves or counters on the side for people to use. Now, the problem is with the scale of this, and the fact that the police station itself is about 2 or 3 bricks high to start with, is that this is incredibly deep. And if you want to get your big fat hands in, like me, then you have to have this reduced wall height for the interior walls. And I think that's really, really odd looking. Something that I know has been done before on other modulars, but something I didn't do on Fast Food Corner just because I couldn't really get behind it. I mean, it just looks crazy. And it's made even worse by the fact here that we've got the stairs there. So somebody coming down these stairs can clearly see into the donut shop and even make their order over the wall rather than coming out the front door and going into the store itself. So I know it's only the interior and we're not going to have the lid off much, but it's just a real problem I have, and probably worse than not having a back door or stairs in this side, to be honest. It's just very strange. Anyway, spoiler here for the prison cell. You're probably aware of this already, but you just lift out this whole section with the prison door, and there's a lovely area of excavation under there, underneath the bed, with a spoon, and he's nearly made his way out because that's where that crack is in the outside wall there. So I really like that feature, and that is indeed the reason why the whole thing's lifted up, of course. So yeah, really good, really interesting build for the stairs, really interesting build for the water cooler over there. That's very nice. Been done similarly before, but that's a bit better, I think. And there are stairs right down to that back door and an interesting old style telephone. So all in all, a really good floor. You can see what they were going for with this, but I do think that it's got a couple of problems, being this, and indeed the outside on the back. There is absolutely nothing. Well, I say that, there's a very, very, very small plant and absolutely nothing else. Incidentally, I have used a green base plate here and not the one that was grey that came with it, just because I'm going to be putting this backing onto my railway line, so it's important that that matches the surrounding area. So that's why mine might look different to yours. And my final grumble on this section is the black theming transferring onto the instructions. I mean, you look at this bit here, and I've deliberately got the light gleaming on it because that's how it looked while I was building. And you think, what on earth is it doing? I can barely see any pieces there at all. There is actually a 2x6 in dark brown there. And I found myself sort of squinting and kind of tilting the instructions several times during this build. I just think using sky blue like we used to have, or still do on all of the city sets, is a much clearer background for instructions, branding aside. Anyway, grumble over. Let's get on to the second floor. Now, the middle floor is probably the least exciting of the three. The police area has a couple of desks with an old-fashioned typewriter and another one of those rotary phones, and exactly the same build for the stairway, with a plant and a little area for taking photographs. Now, although I love this sand green from the outside, the fact that it's actually joined onto this building seems a bit odd to me. Why would it be completely different coloured and even built in a different style with different windows and so on? It just doesn't make much sense. Even if it was a later extension, you'd imagine they'd have built it out of the same stuff. But anyway, it does look good from the outside, so I'm willing to let them off. And there is probably the best feature of the entire build, this clue board being pieced together from snippets of evidence to make a coherent picture of a crime that's going on. And if you didn't know, that's an elastic band that's going around those pieces there. So I really love that. I think everyone does. And here is the flat on the other side in the medium lavender brick with the door on the back that's done by ladders. And this is the real problem I have with this set, if anything. I mean, how on earth are you supposed to even take your shopping to your front door up a ladder? I do not know. Anyway, the thief of the donuts is fishing for donuts through that hole that is underneath the bed. And I think that's a really fun theme, a bit similar to the detective office sort of theft of cookies theme, but I'm willing to go with it. But again, we have this really low interior wall, and this makes even less sense because if you're going to be committing a crime, stealing donuts, then you really don't want to be doing it where actual police officers can see you doing it over the internal wall as they're going down the stairs. So that kind of ruins it for me. Maybe I'm being pedantic, maybe I'm taking it too literally, but I don't know, that just spoils it. So anyway, so that is the second floor, and the back is pretty unexciting. Might need some mods on the back. Right, onto the top floor. And that is the one with this wonderful advert on, and they really make you wait for it in that it's in the very last bag of all. Soap Suds cleans it all, and that's a hark back to the Brick Bank laundrette, of course. So that looks absolutely fantastic. And it's something I think Lego should do a lot more of. I mean, why they don't make a pack that you can buy that, say, got about 5 different adverts in for Lego-y products, kind of like all of the third-party printing businesses do, and you could just buy the pack and stick them on your own buildings and mocks as you saw fit. I think that would be a really good idea. But anyway, that's great. I might have to get another one of those through Bricks and Pieces in due course and put it somewhere else in my city. The front continues as normal, but we've got a very nice air conditioning unit there. I think that's very realistic and looks really nice. And we've got a bird here who's managed to steal a whole donut, which you would have thought would be very heavy for a bird. But maybe it's an African swallow, because a European swallow would surely not be able to carry that weight, just like it can't carry the weight of a coconut. And then we've got the continuation of that plant where it starts to branch out a bit. And I think you need to spend a bit of time really shuffling these leaves around to make it look a bit coherent. Otherwise, it looks a bit patchy. So I think I've done a good job there. And then we've got kind of an American-style water tank on the roof there. Now, the internal walls on this floor aren't so bad, in that at least it's all a police station, so I don't mind it so much there. We've got the interview room here with a nice recording device there, though we do have some of the pieces that are holding on the plant on the outside visible, and that's another thing I tried to avoid as much as possible when I made Fast Food Corner, and I got a bit, retentive about it, essentially trying to make sure that none of these things were visible. So it's a bit frustrating when Lego let them in, but at least this is better than a lot of the more recent modulars, which got all sorts of bricks showing from the wrong perspective. Anyway, so that's a nice room, and here we've got a toilet, and given that there's actually a toilet in the prison cell as well, which might make a lot of sense in some respects, I just think this fascination with adding toilets in Lego builds is absolutely silly, because then it really draws to the fore the fact that there isn't a toilet in the donut shop or any other building either. So if you start adding them to absolutely every building, then you're just going to have a city full of toilets by the end of it. And for every toilet, you'd need a sink. But no, there's no sink in there. So what? So no one's washing their hands. So, it's just problematic for me. I'd say leave toilets out of things. Minifigures don't need the toilet. That's what I say. Then we've got a roof that can lift off here for the evidence locker. Might have to get some blue crystal pieces in there for evidence of misuse of chemicals. There's another police lady in there, the police chief. And I really like these old style uniforms. I might keep these. But the problem with police are that I've got about 10 different types of police, so having a coherent force just really doesn't make much sense. But as you know, one of my main amendments is going to be bringing the super secret police into this building, so maybe that will be less of a problem going forward. Anyway, so that's that build. We've got more ladders going all the way up to the top of the roof, but there's not really much point in getting there because there's nothing really much on there. At the moment, yeah, so I'm going to be doing mods to this building now. And I'm going to have to do them in two phases. First of all, the phase of relatively smaller ones, which I've actually got the pieces for now. And then later I'm going to come back to this building and do some much more serious amendments to it, which will be the full conversion to the super secret police HQ. And that will definitely involve something quite major on this flat roof. But I can't do that right now because I just ain't got the bits. So anyway, I'm going to start with my amendments, probably on the outside to do with this plant. Now, apart from angling all of these plant leaf pieces so they appear to be part of a cohesive plant, I've actually added some flower heads, and I think that makes the plant look a lot more vibrant and really adds to the set. Now, the ones I've used are these pink flower pieces with a small bar on the back that are part 18853, if you're interested. Yeah, and I think they're really successful. Now, you can't add them onto every leaf piece. You'll see some are missing because basically they're held on with one of these grabber pieces like that. And on the end of the bar, they don't have a hole. However, the other ones are held on by this sort of piece. And that actually does have this very small hole that will accommodate one of those flowers. So this is part 32828. And it's in brown behind all of the ones here with a flower on. And indeed, you get two spare ones with the set just because they're the sort of small pieces you get bonus ones of. And I've actually swapped two of those in and removed two of these setups out just so I can add a bit more colour with those flowers. But I think you'll agree that looks very much improved. Now, the problem I have, if I do have a problem with that, is that you aren't going to be able to see it much when it's in Brick Nottingham. Now, this is going to go next to the Birch Bookstore, and then next to that is Fast Food Corner, so over the sort of far side near the second standing hole. And as a result, we're going to be really looking at it more from this angle, from one standing hole, or indeed kind of this angle from the first standing hole. So we're very rarely going to be able to see these flowers at all. But you know me, I'm all for adding detail even where it won't be seen. So I'm happy with that. Now, two other quick changes while we're here, just with regard to orientation. Firstly, I've kept Technic bricks on this side so it can be connected to its neighbouring modular, but I have actually removed them from this side because this will not have a neighbour on it. In fact, this will be a completely blank and open wall. So I need to do something with this wall as part of my mods, but I've already removed those Technic 1x2 bricks from the very bottom there. So it's nice and smooth because I don't want those showing. I've already mentioned that I have changed the base plate to green so it matches its neighbours on my railway line, but that does mean that I've got a very small area of green base plate showing on the inside of this build, which I don't like at all because it kind of looks like there's grass on the inside of the property. So what I'm going to do is use some dark blue tiles, just like we've got a 2x4 here, to kind of fill in that area, and then maybe replace the actual one outside with a 2x4 tread plate because I think that'll look a lot better. So I'm going to do those in a minute. And then another minor criticism of the insides of the police station are that we've got a lot of bare walls. Now, the very top floor has got the two sort of award type shields, so that's not so bad. And we have got the board with all of the clues on in the middle floor, but lots of bare walls there, bare walls on the back. Running out of space here. And then downstairs we've got one clock and a walkie-talkie, and I just don't think that's enough. So I've been looking through all of my stickers from all sorts of different pieces I've bought and taken off the sticker using my patented hot tea technique and kept them for future use, along with other tiles where, well, I've just accumulated them over the years, and I've decided to add quite a few to this build. So, in no particular order, there's this tile from set 7237, which is a wonderful set of fingerprints. Goodness knows where from, and definitely not of that size because Lego people don't have fingers. But I do think it's very appropriate for a policeman to be holding that. So that's a good addition to a scene. I was thinking of adding these sort of jail room type ones where you've got the years chalked off, and there's another one there. But essentially, they were in a white background and a dark bluish grey background, so they're not actually going to fit the inside of the cell. So I'm passing on those. I've also got loads of other ones I've removed in the past with things like mugshots on a wall, massive wanted posters, and there's a clue map even. They're just on generic sheets where I had space, and loads of wanted posters. And I don't think most of that's going to fit either. But what I have got is this 2x2, which is kind of a, well, cop of the month type thing, which I really like. That's from 60130 Prison Island. So I'm going to put that on a wall somewhere. And then I am going to put a couple of wanted posters up, just one of a stereotypical crook and one for the Joker as well. So I think that'll be really good, just to brighten up some of the more bare walls. And then last adjustment to the inside of the police station, I'm actually going to make a change to the small area where the photographs are taken, because at the moment they're against this very sort of small white backdrop, which just looks, well, a bit puny, to be honest, a bit rubbish, and I thought I could do a bit better. So instead of having a very small 2x2 flag piece, I've gone for one of these 2x3 flag pieces, and I've put on one of those kind of measuring boards with the brick heights on for a criminal to stand in front of, so you can tell how tall he is. And I just think that that's a lot more vivid and bright, and will do the same job but look a lot better. Right, so I'm going to add all of those, and then we can move on to the outside blank walls and the super secret police. Okay, so on the ground floor, there is the award picture on that wall there. I think that brightens it up a bit. And there's the cop with the fingerprints on a sheet of paper, presumably enlarged for scale. We've still got this incredibly large wall on the interior of this, but you really can't see that from anywhere, and I haven't got anything crazily appropriate for that, so that'll have to stay, I think. But I have done the back step with a wonderful tread plate and a dark blue interior floor, which you probably can't see and probably will never notice again, but nonetheless it's there and not green, so that's really good. And then onto this, I do love those flowers, they just really pop against that green. Yeah, I've got that backdrop to the camera there, which I think looks a lot better with those brick height sort of graduations on it. And you can see I've added the two wanted posters to that column there, so when cops are on their way out back onto the street, they can't help but see them. There we go, that's probably a slightly better focus. Good. So I think I've brightened up the interior a bit, but now on to, well, the secret police base. And what I've decided to do for my police station is have the downstairs and this middle floor as being for the normal regular police, but then the elite super secret police have commandeered the entire top floor, so that's what I'm going to do next. Now, I was wondering what police minifigures to use as the police force for Brick Nottingham, and to be honest, this modular has only confused matters more, because we've got these wonderful dark blue policemen, kind of in an old style uniform with a peaked cap that's quite reminiscent of New York, I suppose, but they are very nice indeed, and you do get that sort of captain type minifigure as well. But in addition to that, I've got all sorts of other types of police. I was going to potentially use these black police officers just because they're the most numerous in my collection, but then I've got these dark blue ones as well that look like a sort of modern equivalent of the ones in this set. I've also got these type of police, which say police on the back, that I was going to use as cycle police just to differentiate them, and I think I'll definitely stick with that idea. We've got the sky police, we've got kind of traffic cops, and I was going to update that a little bit by using these wonderful style helmets that I was going to make a pair of motorcycle traffic cops like chips. The old program. Got these ones as well, which are more of the sort of superhero side build type policemen. Now I may use those as security officers because, to be honest, they haven't got police written on them, so that's probably all right. Got these kind of small town police people with just the shirts on. And then you've even got these countryside policemen as well. So I mean, it's just so many different types. And that's before we get to the super secret police themselves, which are going to be my elite force. And they're not going to be robots. I'm going to replace them with yellow skin, maybe the same hands to represent gloves, or maybe yellow skin hands as well. And I'm kind of thinking that the super secret police are a really overfunded but underachieving kind of police force, which is probably the reason why there are just so many baddies and crooks all around Brick Nottingham, because these guys are inept. They've probably got loads and loads of big guns, a really big attitude, but are ultimately completely incompetent. So that's what I figure the super secret police will be. So whatever police I use elsewhere in my city, these guys are going to be the incompetent crack police that are absolutely elite but ineffective. Right, so here is the top floor with the advert, the African swallow and our wonderful pink plant. And I will be doing, as I said earlier, some more significant conversion to this floor on the inside and indeed on the roof in due course. And we'll banish this regular police officer to a different floor, because this is the super secret police base. And the first thing I thought I would do is make a huge sign for the back wall that we'll be able to see from pretty much the whole city. Now, you might think, why would you have a huge sign on the back of a building? Well, remember, these super secret police write super secret police on absolutely every flat surface available, which doesn't make any sense at all, which is part of the joke, I feel. So I'm going to continue that by making a ridiculously oversized sign to really advertise their presence to all of the would-be criminals. And I'm going to do that by doing some serious sticker surgery using the sticker sheet from the super secret police dropship 70815. Now, you can see what I've done. I've used a sticker here and a part of a sticker here on two sheets, and also two of these stickers, which actually said 10th Division, to basically make a wonderful big sign. In fact, two wonderful big signs. And here is the first one. Kind of badge on each side saying Super Secret Police and 10th Division there. So I figured that completely huge, even overlapping the window and looking ridiculously large, would be kind of a we're in town and we mean business type kind of a sign. And I thought that would be really funny. Now, because I've got stickers for two, I thought I'd make two. And I thought I could actually mount the second one on the inside of the same wall instead of these puny normal police plaques. Rubbish. And just stick that straight away kind of on there, maybe a bit lower. And then basically, if a normal policeman ever dared come up the stairs to the super secret police floor, then they would soon be awed by that huge sign right in their face. Now, to make the outside one even more garish and even more ridiculous, I thought, what better to do in line with all of the super secret police vehicles that we're going to have to produce as well. Not today, next time. But add great big flashing blue and red lights all over our sign. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, that's just gilding the lily, Robin. That is going a bit too far. Yep, it is. So I reckon that on there, attached with a couple more of those modified bricks or whatever, would look absolutely ridiculous. So a huge sign on the inside and a huge sign on the outside. So let's get on with attaching that. Okay. So none of the regular puny police are going to dare come up the stairs to the top floor when they see that superimposing sign. I think you'll agree. So that's a really good amendment and use of those stickers. And then just so it shines as far as possible, there's the lit up version on the outside as well. And I was considering changing or moving these windows, but I figure that it looks even more sort of inept if it is completely covered by a ridiculous sign blocking the light and so on. So I think that looks really silly and really fun. and I'm really looking forward to doing loads more super secret police action on the roof. But for now, I'm just going to put this on top of the rest of the building. And it brings us to the interesting subject of the other external walls. Now, from the main angle, we're going to be able to see it from the second standing hole. We'll be able to see the Soap and Suds advert, so that's absolutely fine. And this wall will be blocked by the Birch Bookstore. I was thinking of taking these bricks out and using them either on the front, I think more likely on the back, just so we can see them. But to be honest, it's so small, I'm not sure it's even worth it. But what is worth doing something with is this great big blank wall, because it will be visible, albeit not very much, because we'll be looking at it kind of very obliquely from the main viewing angle, but it is just such an expansive brick that it does need something doing with it. Now, I am very grateful we haven't got loads of different colours all breaking into this nice regular pattern that happens on some modulars, but nonetheless, I think we need to do a bit better with another advert. So possible contenders included the Heart Lake Shopping Mall sign, which I could kind of mount on with a couple of these bracket pieces and have kind of like that. And I think that's quite good. It's quite a good size, really breaks it up, but the colours are a bit similar. So maybe not. A similar one was this one, Brick Street Custom, which I like very much, and that could be mounted on there as well. Now, the problem with that one is it's another one of these great big white plates, much like the Super Secret Police one that is just out of shot there that we just added. So I figure that having another white one probably isn't a great idea. And then I was looking through the rest of the things that I had as 3D adverts. They are either too good to use on a wall that's not going to be that visible, or a bit bland like those ones. Apart from this, the Treads Tuning advert, which is very 3D, from the set 60258. Now, I didn't buy that set. I just bought the sticker sheet and the wheel and made my own because I had the rest of the bricks. But I think that is a really good colour contrast to this. When looked at obliquely, kind of at that angle sort of thing, you'll be able to see it still and see what it's all about. So I think that'll work really well on this wall. So what I'm going to have to do is basically just add a few purple bricks kind of bricked into this piece, so it's absolutely solid, and then with that and a 1x4 brick in the same colour, I can kind of replace this 1x6 here and kind of have it there, and I think that'll look bob on. Yeah, tell me what you think, but I think that looks really good. In addition to that, so if I just pause on that for a moment and pull back a bit, I thought I could have some smaller ads a bit further down. And one I've got is this Bob Fizz's soft drinks, which I thought could go about there. And this would be viewable by pedestrians, of course, walking past this side of the building. And then another one here, just for my beach party that's currently happening on the beach, just in case you'd forgotten. And I thought that one could go on kind of at a jaunty angle, one way or the other, again, for people to see. So if you imagine both of those are there, and then this is also higher up, I think it makes that wall a lot more interesting. So I'm going to put all three of those on, and we can see how it looks. Okay, so that's all of those onto that wall. I think it's looking a lot more busy and a lot more interesting. You just wouldn't have a completely plain wall in a city, I don't think. And adverts are the best way of covering them. So we've got the Treads Tuning one. And I think with this sort of one, it's really important to make sure the sticker is right in the bottom corner here. You see there's a much wider yellow band than usual, perhaps. And that's just so the orange section absolutely perfectly matches the orange bricks that are next to it. And there really is no line. So that looks great. Soft drinks, beach party, sorted. So we've also added the pink flowers today, which I think look really, really great. And of course, we've added the beginnings of our very in-depth super secret police base, 10th division, with flashing lights on the outside and just a big intimidating sign on the inside. And then, of course, we've added the new height chart on the inside, the other side of this window, and a few more tiles just to make the inside of the police station a little bit more decorated. So the only thing that really remains now is to get this bad boy into Brick Nottingham, pride of place, on the second or third modular row. Cool. So if the first row of modulars is over there at the far side, and the second row of modulars is just the other side of the railway track, then I guess this must be modular row number 3, starting with Fast Food Corner, my own modular mock, which if you haven't seen the series of, I can definitely recommend. Birch Books, and then our new police station, which looks very tall and grand, definitely not lost on the end there. It's quite hard to fit in because we've got this great big hospital the other side of the street. And then around the side there, that blank wall with the adverts on that will kind of follow that street and that pavement back to what will be the cargo area all around here that should sort of link the road and the cargo rail line. But for this police station, I think it looks pretty good. I do think that birch tree might need moving out a little bit just so it's not blocking so much of the sand green section of the new build. Indeed, that's really quite a lot in shadow. What I might decide to do is kind of rebase the entire police station a couple of studs forward, just so the sand green element on the right is more level with the front of Birch Books, and the police station is kind of sticking out a little bit more. In fact, I think I might try that now, because then the Soap and Suds advert will be even more visible from this perspective, which we will see quite a lot. And talking about this perspective, we can see quite a lot. You can only actually see one of those pink flowers really from this angle, but they are looking rather good if you do go around the corner a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to bring this out a couple of studs just to see how that looks, and then we can also see how it looks from the back quickly as well. Yes, I think bringing that building forward 4 studs does improve matters quite a lot. It kind of adds the continued slope of buildings kind of getting closer in as they get towards the focal point being the space tower, and we can probably do a similar thing on the other side of the road as well. But the Soap and Suds advert is a lot more visible now. I think the birch tree still needs moving, and the sand green section of build is not so far back from everything else. Assuming that works on the back, I think that's what I'll do. It'll just mean I have to kind of rip it off its base plate and reattach it slightly different studs. And it does mean, because I was going to have a bicycle lane all the way along this double width pavement, it might not fit as well now without really cramping the front of that. I'll have to reconsider it. But do tell me what you think of that positioning as opposed to the one that we just did. But I think that's definitely better. And I'm really looking forward to that flat roof being filled with all sorts of super secret goodness. Okay, and there's the view of the back. It is pushed forward still by those 4 studs. So this is how it would be if we go with that format. And I think it really works on the back as well, actually, because otherwise it would be sticking quite a long way back, blocking that balcony bit there. So I really don't mind it as it is. And it just shows the wonderful colours that I was looking forward to on the back. I was right about. A very good view with that all overlooking the double railway line, of course. And that's why I put it on a green base plate, which when we've moved it will fill in that small gap, because all of the neighbours are on green base plates as well. So yeah, I think I definitely will go for the new positioning. And I love that super secret police sign. Ridiculously large, and now everyone will know where it is, even when the stuff on the roof isn't there. Brilliant. Well, that repositioning will have to wait for another day, but I do think today's video has been a success. I do think the modular is a really good one, so I can definitely advise that you go ahead and buy it if you're just considering it. I think the scale of it's wonderful, and the colours are its best features. The inside, as I said, could do with a few small mods, but to be honest, we never really go into these modulars once they're in place, and it's a wonderful addition to the skyline. And looking at things from about this perspective, we've got about 7 or 8 rows of buildings now, making this look like a real city from a lower angle. So yeah, really happy with it. So hopefully you like my amendments that I did. Do tell me what you think of those. Do tell me if you think of any others, but do bear in mind that stage 2, which is going to be the much bigger ideas for Super Secret Police action, is yet to come. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. As always, it is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time, Robin Hood Bricks, I do still have a couple of packages, so I can do a haul still. And then next Friday, well, we've kind of finished Farm Fridays, so maybe it's Fairground Fridays. That would be a real fun area to get started on. I think you'll agree. So, until next time, see you.